around the outside. The distance around the outside of the shape. Okay. Okay. Yeah, breast. All right. So, really, we're just adding the sides together. That's all we have to do is add all the sides together. When we label distance, we use just the regular units. So that would mean like we're just saying feet, or we're just saying inches, or millimeters, or miles, or kilometers. We're just labeling it just in that units. Nothing crazy. It's just the distance. Yeah, area. Where are you supposed to be? I did notice and I thought you walked away. Bye. What a goof. Alright, next we got area. So if perimeter is the distance around the outside, area is how many squares the shape covers, the inside covers. Okay, sorry. Chill. I got it.
That's our favorite.
Oh my God.
Okay. Alright, oh, call your phone away. Okay, you can't sit on there.
Nothing.
Okay.
No better.
Hella? Alright, are you ready? So I got a couple people writing. You want to write the formulas down at least. Alright, so area. Area is how many squares the shapes cover. How many squares the shape covers? You can do both at the same time. Crazy. Alright, so if I take a look at a rectangle, and it's a 2 by 3. What that really is looking at is if I have 3 units going across, like 1, 1, 2, 3, I can draw those lines in. So it's 3 this way. And then it's 2 going up and down, so it gets cut in half there. So as I look at these squares, hi. Is this it?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, make sure you get your name on it next time. Bye. Okay, so as I look at these are supposed to be squares if I was going to actually measure them really nicely, but just pretend they are. Okay, how many squares fit inside that shape? 6. So the area is 6 square units because we're literally counting squares. So with area, the way that we label area is we're literally measuring squares. So we always say square units or square something, But the way we write it is a little bit different. And that can be the hardest part to remember, is that we still say square units, but when we write it out, we write it with the little squared. So we say units and then with the little 2 to the power of 2. Now, even though it looks like units squared, we still say square units. So if we're doing feet, it would be square feet, or feet to the power of 2, but we still say square feet. We might use square inches, or square millimeters, or kilometers, or anything, really. All right. Here we go. We're going to start with rectangles and squares. This should be a little bit of review today. This should be an easy intro, hopefully, for this one. Okay. Hey, you two. It's not just so short. Ow. What's up? What can I help you with? Okay. Do you need a pencil? Okay. Let's get going. Okay, rectangles and squares. When we look at a rectangle and a square, what do we know about those shapes? We talked about them way back in chapter 6. What does a rectangle look like? How many sides? 4 sides, good. And what do we know about all the angles in a rectangle? Yeah, 90 degrees. Okay, so we can put those little boxes in the corners. They're all 90 degrees. Okay, what else do I know about the opposite sides? Which parts are going to be the same? Opposite, yeah. So this side is congruent to this side. So we can do a tick mark there showing that these match. And the top is going to match the bottom. So our area is equal to base times height. Okay, Carter, Joey. Or we might just shorten that and say A equals BH. Okay, our B would be the base. The bottom usually is our base, not always the bottom. And then our height is how tall it is. All right, we're going to do 2 examples with this one. When I pass out the glue-in has kind of a dashed line here. You can cut that, and you're going to glue this part into this page, and then we'll glue the next part into the next page. So where the dashed line is in the in-between, if you want to cut that or rip it, and then you can glue this in.
Cut in the dashes one.
Alright, so if you want to cut it on that line, you can cut it on the line and then glue in just the rectangles on this page and I'll do the parallelograms on the next. Yep, during work time. Yeah, the dash line. You want to cut here.
She doesn't know I know it. You don't want to see it. I want to see it.
All right, so take the parallelograms, that's this one, put that off to the side for a moment. Glue in just this rectangle one at the bottom.
Teacher,
Yeah,
you like Chipotle?
yeah.
Well, God said he would come to his lab today. We
Yeah? Which Chipotle does he work at?
Or the whole place.
Alright, get this glued in. Lane, get it glued in. Let's go. You did not glue it in. You cut it. Do you guys not have glue?
Which one did I do first?
The squares and rectangles.
Oh, alright.
Oh boy, you guys are something else.
You don't know, alright.
Alright, so as we take a look at this first one, what kind of shape is this top shape? How do we know it's a square? Yeah, all the sides are equal. Good. Okay. So let's find the perimeter first. To find the perimeter, we're going to add up all the outsides. So the top is 11 plus... Okay, refocus. Top is 11. As I go to the left, it's 11. What's the bottom? So bottom is 11. And the right side is 11. So 11 plus 11 plus 11 plus 11, or 11 times 4? 44. And what are we measuring this in? Kilometers. Since it's just perimeter, perimeter does not get the squared. It's just a length. So just regular kilometers. Alright, to find the area. Hawa, you guys, you're not even trying. It's extremely frustrating. Okay, area, we're going to do base times height. Lane. Hi. Chill. Alright, base times height. So what is our base of our square? Aaliyah, stop sign language. Alright, what is the base of the square going to be? What would this down here be? 11 times what's our height? 11. Oh, I missed it. I'm sorry. 11 times 11? Yeah, 121. Nice. This time, we do use the square kilometers. So we put the kilometers, and then we do like to the power of 2, but we still say square kilometers.
Square kilometers?
Yep, square kilometers is how we always say it. Because we're literally talking about squares. How many squares could be drawn? Alright, so the bottom one here, again, we're just going to find perimeter and area. Shouldn't take us too long. Hey, chill. Alright, perimeter, we have 5 plus, what's my bottom? 11.7 plus, what's this other side going to be? Yep, 11.7 and 5. And we get 33.4. When I label the perimeter, is this going to be inches or square inches? For perimeter, it's just inches. Yep. Alright, so for area, what two numbers am I going to multiply here? 11.7 and 5. Good. Could I have written 5 times 11.7? Can I switch those? Yep. For base and height, when we just multiply, it doesn't matter which one's which. And we end up with 58.5. And again, this time, though, it's area, so we're going to use square inches. Looks like inches squared is what it looks like when we write it, but when we say it, square inches. Oh shoot, it's not like we can't turn a page. Darn. Alright, we're going to flip the page. I'm going to be using a highlighter on this next page. Before you glue in the next page. Alright, before you glue it in, don't glue it in yet. We're going to make a picture. Alright, next we're going to talk about is parallelograms. I'll let you copy at the end. Just flip to the next page with us and then we can go back. Okay, parallelograms. A broom? I don't right now. I can get one in a second. Are you guys going to be okay for a little bit without one? Or you need one like right now? Okay. Alright, parallelogram. Parallelogram is like a rectangle, but it's a little slanted. Opposite sides. Shh. Holy moly. Opposite sides are parallel. So, same thing happens with our opposite sides are congruent. So this bottom is congruent to this top. Samir, you were gone for 25 minutes.
I was eating it.
No. No.
Sorry.
Okay, and then this side is congruent to this side. So, the way that parallelograms work, I'm going to do some magic, so get excited. It's going to happen. Alright, so here I have this handy dandy parallelogram. To find the area of the parallelogram, what we end up doing is we're going to make a cut. I'm going to cut right here.
Where is ours?
You don't need one. You're just watching it. It's magic. Okay, I cut this, and then here's a parallelogram. But if I move this over, what shape is it now? A rectangle.
That's a square.
That's a rectangle. It's definitely not the same size. Okay, but it goes from being a parallelogram to a rectangle, so it covers the same shape as a rectangle. So we use the same formula, A equals base times height. But here's the thing about the height. The height, Lang. The height has to create 90 degrees with the base. So the height doesn't go up the side. Here might be my base. But the height has to go straight up from the base. So usually we use this dashed line. This dashed line means it is a measurement. It's just not part of the outside edge. It's not one that we see. And that would be our 90-degree angle. And that's going to be our height. Saito, what are you guys talking about that's so important? Okay, then it can wait. Alright, so for our height here, our height has to create this 90-degree angle. So this is where I'm going to use that highlighter today to highlight that height isn't necessarily on the outside of these ones. Alright, you should have your second sheet of paper there. Go ahead and glue that in. Here you go, Samir.
I get a pencil. That's right.
Perfect. We're almost done. Can you wait like 3 more minutes? Okay.
Yo, amigo.
Okay, so get this glued in. Alright, so as we look at this first one, we're going to do perimeter and area for both of these. So as we do perimeter, perimeter is going to be the outside parts. So for perimeter, hey, stop. Okay, so for perimeter, we're looking at the outside parts, meaning that we are looking at the actual solid lines. So solid lines, we have on top 6.2 plus, are we going to count this 4? No, that 4 isn't part of the shape. So we want this slanted part. How much is the slanted part? 7.1 plus, how much is the bottom?
I didn't even glue it in yet.
That's okay. Just do it quick. I gave like a minute to glue it in. Okay, so 6.2 plus 7.1 plus 6.2 plus 7.1. What? You need a new one? Okay. We get 26.6. And how are you going to label this? Meters. Because on this picture it has meters, but you're right not to say the square part, which was the important part. All right, now for our area. Area is base times height. So for base and height, we have to locate the 90-degree angle. This is where I'm using the highlighter. Where are you? Hi. You might want to look up. There you go. All right, for our 90-degree angle, we have our 90 degree here. So that's between the 4. And then really, it's saying it's with this bottom part. So this is our base and our height.
So add 4.
Well, it's base times height. So multiply. So our height is 4. What is our base? How much is this bottom part going to be? 6.2. So we're doing 6.2 times 4. 24.8. And this time with area, it's going to be square meters. Good. All right, we have one more. You guys are crushing it.
Nope.
All right, for perimeter. Perimeter is all the way around the outside edges. So what parts are we going to add together? 7, 4.8. There's 4 sides, so we should have 4 numbers. Lang. Oh, Collie. Shh. It's mostly Lang. Hey. Shh. Shh. What's my other side going to be? 7 and 4.8. We're just adding up the outsides. Okay, so perimeter is just always adding the outsides. We're not going to spend too much time on perimeter after today. We do need to know the perimeter for one of our other formulas, so that's why we're practicing it today. Because when we get to next week, there's one that's really important that we know the perimeter. Okay, and this time we're measuring in miles. Okay, this time for area, base times height. Where is my 90-degree angle? By the dotted line, the dashed line that tells us it's a measurement. It's from here to here. It's not part of the shape on the outside. So it goes with the 3 and the 7. Now, technically, the height is always the one that's kind of the dashed line if we need a dashed line. So the base is always part of the parallelogram. So which number is part of the outside of the parallelogram? 7. So 7 is my base, which means my height is 3. Yeah, that 90 degree. So in this one, my base is 7, and the height is 3. If you need to write that down as a reminder, because in your practice, it's going to ask you which one's the base and which one's the height, and you might get confused. The base is always part of the parallelogram. The height can be the dashed line. All right, so what is 7 times 3? 21. So 21 square miles. All right. Finally, at the end of practice, at the end of the notes, I somehow seem to have most of your attention. All right. Here's the dealio, people. We are halfway through the trimester as far as content